Okay, guys, welcome back. And as you can see, me here to share more with you about our adventure in an Earthship. And so, as promised on my last episode, we're going to go into much more detail about this bathroom. And not just the bathroom, but basically, I want to hopefully cover in this segment also just this first area of the Earthship, which represents what I would like to call basically your sunroom, your inviting lobby. Not exactly sure how to describe it, but the potential that it brings, but also, just some of the things that you see in the picture, but also just to kind of try to get your mind to expand beyond what you actually see, to kind of get an idea or a grasp of perhaps what you would do if you owned an Earthship. Okay, so as you already can see, we arrived at night. So the very first thing I wanted to see when we finally found our location is what you're looking at right now, this toilet. And because of the open to the world concept, based on having a complete wall full of windows, it was easy to see this toilet from outdoors. And so it was not hard to find. As I told you, it's at the very front of the Earthship. So you didn't have to go searching for it. Now, getting into our space, because I want to tell you a little bit about that, because we are doing this from a renting mentality, an Airbnb, if you will. So it was already clear to us. Of course, the office had already closed. So, and we are talking about an area where there is not a lot of reception. So even if the office was open when we finally made it up the Rio Grande, we couldn't have gotten a signal to call them, to be able to tell them we don't know which structure is ours. So part of the issue you will find if you are ever in a situation where you decide, hey, you want to go on this adventure, make sure that you are clear on the directions and instructions. And they do provide maps. So this is by no means saying that they did not try everything possible to make sure that we could know where to go, because I had information emailed to me. Fortunately, before I got into an area where I could not make a phone call, I was able to reach, and because the office was still open, I was not able to reach, because by the time I did contact them, the office was not open, but we were in an area where my phone worked. But I did go back to my previous emails and found that they did have an actual map. And you basically need a legendary map, like a treasure map, to find your particular treasure inside of this biotexture community. And so you can imagine how unnerving it was. We're first of all driving in snow, which we live in Louisiana. Snow is something we get as a novelty item. We may get it once every 2 or 3 years. So actually, and when we do, we don't have to do a lot of traveling in it. So ice and snow was already a challenge in and of itself. Traveling up a mountain in ice was another experience altogether. But after making it up there and making it finally to the Earthship biotexture, then there was the making sure we understood this map and where we were to go. Because again, all of these homes, as you can imagine, look quite similar from the outside. However, we did eventually find our space. And this was after a couple of hours. Both my husband and I were desperately in need of a toilet. So it was a wonderful thing that it was the first thing. Once you go into the lobby area, you're going to find to your right, you're going to find where the toilet was. So I did take note that there was only a toilet and sink in the area that I was in. And at the time, I did ponder, well, does this survival studio come with an actual shower? And then I did almost think that maybe the shower was like an outside thing, but then I thought that would be just too cruel to put us outside to take a shower in what is clearly a Four Seasons area. So I said, well, I'll just have to explore a little bit more. But I wanted you to also take note of something very clear. Two things. One, I want you to take note of the floors. There is not a continuation of floor. So what you actually see is that you have what looks like basically a pathway that's similar to what you would see outside, or what you would see if you had like a labyrinth or some sort of decorative garden outside of your home. You're seeing that being the paving for the floor inside of your lobby. Both the bathroom, and when I say bathroom, I mean both the toilet, sink, and the opposite side of the Survivor Studio, when you come into the lobby, which is where your shower is, have different flooring. And both of those are earthy flooring. So that took a little getting used to as well, because you have what looks like you have like these big stones in the shower, and then in between the stones looks like basically pavers gravel, and also some little pebbles or whatever in between, so that the gravel isn't gritty on your feet. You don't feel that, but it's just very clear. That's very earthy. It's very earthy, and it's a person's design. I've got to admit to you, I am one who like earth tones. I am one who like to mix the traditional with the rustic, and I like bringing the elements of the outdoors in. So from that concept, I appreciated all of that, but I have to admit that I think it was a little much. I think I like the idea of bringing the look of some of the outdoor things, but I prefer also having the comfort of those things that were made for being indoors and for you actually putting your feet on. I don't really like feeling like I'm taking a shower outside and not knowing exactly where my foot is standing on, because to me that kind of goes against the whole concept of wanting to be clean. I think of, when you say you have like something like a mud room, I think of a mud room as being a place you want to take what you attracted on your feet from outside. You're trying to not bring that inside. So the idea that I'm going to be cleaned, or I'm taking a shower only to take a shower on a space that basically is very similar to that which is outside is I don't know, it's a mind changing, altering experience that I'm not sure if I've actually grasped the whole concept of that. But it was very nice. Like I said, it was very beautifully decorated. I mean, impeccable. I couldn't say anything else but that. And you felt like you were basically in a tropical paradise. And with other than knowing that you are physically in a community, you felt extremely private. You felt like you were by yourself. I mean, you didn't see anybody looking through the shower, but the reality is that if someone wanted to, they could. And then it didn't make me any more comfortable that there were homes that were two-story that weren't far from where we were actually located, but far enough that I could not see their structure from my window. But again, I gotta admit, I come back to the privacy issue. And so we're once again at this place where I'm gonna have to go to round 3 to go on with this. But I did cover some of the things I want to cover in terms of flooring and everything else, and in terms of architectural design. But we will deal with the actual bedroom on our next number 3 video series, and I hope you will enjoy. I look forward to sharing more with you. Please subscribe or follow me on TikTok if you want to hear more about this Hebrew Melanated Sisters adventure in the Earthship biotexture community. Shalom.